Greetings, world. Future Shock.
Greetings, True Spoon. How's your evening been? How's your day been?
Yeah, it's all right. I saw the eclipse. Did you check out the old partial solar eclipse?
It was very partial, wasn't it? I mean, I thought they said
partial to a partial.
Like they said to us, it was going to be about 90%, and where I was looking at it, I would say it's like 65, 70%. I don't know about you. It must have been roughly the same. I thought it was a bit of an anticlimax. I can't lie.
Well, I liked it when it noticeably got dimmer. About so the peak was 7:10.
Yeah,
BST, and it was a noticeable sort of dimming, like a really weird light that you would never experience otherwise, like a kind of an unusual setting to the lighting, and it's like, oh wow, that's kind of weird. It's like still kind of sunny, but like the sun's been blocked, and it kind of made it kind of weird, kind of effervescently gloomy, kind of weird and cool.
I mean, where I was looking at it, I'm not sure. Did you see it? Were you quite high up? Whereabouts did you actually view it from?
Viewed it from the garden, and I'm kind of not. I'm just above like the level of the Thames, so like one of the banks of the Thames, basically. Like, so it's what, about 50 feet high, maybe.
I mean, I was
so a little bit. What, 50 feet? Maybe not even that. Maybe 20 feet, to be honest, above sea level.
I was at the top floor of the gym, which is one of the highest places around the area where I live, and I don't know. I obviously there was a dimming of the light. It was a bit kind of like shadowy and stuff.
Shadowy, it was, wasn't it? It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was just because I was inside. Maybe if I'd have been outside. Well, I did leave about quarter. This is one of the reasons why I was a tiny bit late, running a bit late, because I was just sort of like waiting, and then I realized, oh, it's kind of over, and that was it. So I don't know. It just seemed a bit of an anticlimax for me, but
it kind of was a 2-hour thing. So we started about just after 6. The thing is, I got them. Yeah, I mean, I got a pair of them glasses. My housemate, they've gone on Richmond Park to look at it. But they gave me a pair of those glasses. You can view the eclipse. You can look at the sun. It's like a really heavy piece of like smoky plastic, and you can look through it, and it filters out a lot of the light. And that's pretty cool, actually. And I had my camera phone, and I zoomed. So I don't know. I got a close up of the sun with the moon kind of in front of it. I liked it.
Yeah, maybe it was because I was indoors. It wasn't quite the same sort of thing watching it. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen, because the last one obviously was, I think it was a total eclipse in 1999. I think it was an actual total one, wasn't it? And I don't remember that. I don't know if I tried to watch it. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I think I would remember it from 99 because I wasn't obviously that young then. So again, the next one's not for another 18 years apparently. So
the next partial or total?
I think they're saying it's a total. I'm not sure though. I don't trust it now, because that to me was about 65-70%.
You felt let down, did you?
I feel let down by the sun basically, and the moon. Can't equality.
I swore already, man. I didn't even need to swear then. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm trying to go for a more algorithm-friendly approach to this show, and so there's not even a quota on swearing anymore. I've got to try and totally stop swearing.
I think with it,
totally unnecessarily. I mean, there's things we have to talk about in this show where you kind of have to swear, kind of obligatory. But yeah. So anyway, sorry to.
It's like it's not. We don't do a very algorithm friendly show in terms of the subject matter. It's more the subject matter. We need to be a little bit careful sometimes what we say. It's all right if you're a big account. You've already got all your, you've already got the algorithm working for you because you got like millions of views each time, and the advertising revenue's rolling in for YouTube and everything, so they're happy. But when you're a smaller account, the algorithm sees to go against you, and it's happening to a lot of my friends who run football channels who've got maybe between sort of like 1,000 and 3,000 subscribers. They're finding the algorithm recently particularly is just screwing them over. And these are people who retain viewers. They have week in, week out, decent numbers of viewers. Like say on YouTube, they'll have between 100 and 200 viewers when they're live. And these people stay watching, which is what YouTube likes, right? It likes it when people stay for like an hour and watch the whole thing. That's supposed to be good for you. But even they, with those kind of numbers, which obviously are different to ours, are saying that they're getting battered by the algorithm. So I think YouTube, and I know a couple of people who've made a lot of money from YouTube who now are saying that YouTube's not as good as it was. So I think just they're being clamped.
It's never as good as it was, is it? YouTube is continuously getting worse than it was every. Yeah. There was a sort of armistice. It was about a year ago. Is it about a year and a half ago now? 2 years even. When a lot of banned accounts, one of my accounts got brought back to life actually. Because I had an old video channel, and I think I made the mistake. I did a lot of things kind of a bit cheeky on that channel. I posted the full fight. One of the Fury. Not AJ. I posted full fight. Like 3 minute. About 7 minute fight or something from DAZN. That I sort of just thought, fuck it. I've done it again. Oh, that's 2 Fs. I'm such a foul. I need to wash my mouth out of shape. Yeah, I posted that, and then I posted an interview, not with me, with Mark Collette from Patriot. What's that? Patriotic Alternative. And anytime anyone puts him on hosts any videos with him involved, you immediately drop like 1,000 degrees into the center of the earth in terms of the algorithm. And also another thing is, I posted some video from Kathmandu. And I inadvertently posted loads of pictures of dead bodies, but they were in their sort of funeral ritual within the context of the river rituals that they do with the bodies, washing them ritually, the Hindus or whatever, the Buddhists. So yeah, and so that had been that account got nuked with that explanation, no explanation whatsoever. So probably just a trifecta of.
Well, this is it, and this is what I'm saying. Like posting stuff like that is far more damaging than some F-bombs here and there. It's more. It takes a more dim view of if you're just kind of like, dead bodies, but also more actually. To be fair, more like reposting content like the DAZN thing that would have hurt.
Yeah, sure. That was cheeky. Yeah, I know that. I was duly punished.
No, that's it. Again, going back to my friends who do football channels, they've been stung by like even just posting about 3-second clips from Sky Sports and stuff like that. So
so it's all getting much stricter. But also in terms of what's happening to YouTube, I mean, it was recently in the news that YouTube kind of being ordered to give mainstream media, especially the BBC, sort of preferential billing. It's trying to turn YouTube. It's only the UK doing this. Trying to turn YouTube into another arm of the mainstream, the TV. Just trying to turn YouTube into an TV channel just full of mainstream rubbish.
They realize that they're dying, though, isn't it? These kind of like BBC, ITV, the forever mainstream media. They realize that they need to make that change, don't they? They need to make the change to something like YouTube. I think the original armistice, though, came, if I'm not mistaken, because Rumble was like getting quite big as a competitor, and Rumble was kind of like causing a lot of people to sort of switch from YouTube over to there because it was more free, like you have more freedom of speech and stuff there. So I think the YouTube kind of like recalibration was in lieu of that, if I remember correctly. But what can you do? I mean, YouTube has always Always been a bit of a leftist thing, unfortunately.
Well, obviously not originally, which was, remember the time, when it first came out, and until about 2000 and particularly 2016. But there's probably a reason for that, and it focuses on George Soros and his Open Society Foundations, because in 2016 there was a massive campaign from by Open Society Foundations, which is obviously bankrolled by George Soros.
Yeah.
To simultaneously we had the Black Lives Matter sort of riots and all the sort of social media, social change activism that broke out as a result in response to Trump's election. But that was all bankrolled specifically by George Soros. And in fact, there's a particular name of the organization. It's called Indivisible. It's a progressive movement and organization. It formed in 2016 as a reaction to the election of Donald Trump, obviously. And it's founded by Leah Greenberg, Ezra Levin. So they're two friends of Barbara Lerner Specter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we can tell from the
yeah. And that's been massively funded by George Soros Open Society Foundations. And let's see, the goal apparently of Indivisible is to save American democracy, resume the project of creating a humane America that is more like a social democracy than a corporate plutocracy. So they've been involved in, let's see, what have we got here? Group advocates, advocacy activities. I can't find anything particularly interesting what I'm reading right here, actually, to be honest with you.
I thought it was
Reid Hoffman, mostly through small direct advice, as well as from Reid Hoffman. So donations, Reid Hoffman. Sorry, what were you saying?
I thought we were going to kind of like use that sort of Soros reference to segue into like one of the first things we were going to talk about with Rupert Lowe and the massive like smear campaign that's been going on recently against him.
I've just found out these guys coordinate the No Kings protests. You remember that?
Rubbish? Yes, I remember them.
So yeah, a lot of this. So a lot of activity was stepped up by Open Society Foundation in 2016, and a lot of that coincided with the marked reduction in, particularly Google results, a marked reduction of actual truthful and reliable news to be replaced by mainstream media fake news, which I noticed around 2016. That's when the internet sort of turned bad, and the censorship all ramped up. But that's all because of our friend George. So what were we going to talk about again?
So we were talking,
yeah.
So we were chatting backstage, and I presumed you'd probably picked up on it. I was going to mention it as well. Just the sheer amount of misrepresentation and like smear campaigning that's been going on in the last sort of fortnight against Rupert Lowe, even from like GB News, who you might expect to be a bit more kind of like kinder to him and a bit more kind of open-minded to him, but especially the Telegraph. And you had some interesting information about the origins of the Telegraph.
No, not the Telegraph. There's an individual in particular who's been doing all of this activity, this ceaseless inflammatory activity against Rupert Lowe. That man's name is Alistair Heath.
Oh yeah,
he's the editor of the Sunday Telegraph. But he's also apparently been appearing on GB News and Talk Radio and all this crap. Oh, another flipping swear word. Oh, that crap doesn't really count.
He got absolutely murdered by the comments. I'm just trying to find out. I don't know if he's taken it down. But he put, because he's the editor, isn't he? He's the editor of the Sunday Telegraph anyway, I think.
That's right. But he's been writing all these articles in the normal Telegraph. Let me just quote a little bit of what he said. If you might remember, I don't know if you saw the intro video I made.
Yeah.
But there was that guy, there's a man who appears when the police arrest Rupert Lowe. Did you see that little clip?
Yeah.
And that man's name in that video is Alistair Heath. and he's accusing Lowe in print. He says that accused him of. He says he's fanning the flames of racial and religious strife. Apparently, that's what I mean. The thing is, that's what makes me laugh about that is the racial and religious strife is already here. It's like it's already arrived, mate. You don't need to fan the flames; it's already here, and it's none of our doing. It's just been dumped on. All this strife has been dumped on our doorstep, right, in our streets. But anyway, let me give you some quotes of what Mr. Heath says, and I've got some interesting facts about Mr. Heath, which I'll divulge in a moment. So, August 5th, so this is all quite recent, and this was all hot on the heels of Rupert Lowe's offer to Nigel Farage, which was on the 2nd of August or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
A while ago now. But anyway, on 5th of so this is all hot on the heels of that. So 5th of August, 2026, Farage must reject Rupert Lowe's repugnant dance with white nationalism. Heath described Lowe as a deluded egotist who is toxifying British politics, fanning the fires of racial and religious strife. He criticizes Restore's positions as veering into bigotry, urges Farage to refuse any deal that adopts Restore's agenda, argues for multiracial, multi-religious conservative coalitions instead. So he is clearly a man who is on the fake right. He's clearly in favor of business as usual in terms of what's happening to the UK now. This man clearly doesn't bother him. It's all part of the fun, I dare say.
This isn't.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
I was literally just going to say, and this isn't just one article, by the way. This is multiple articles that Alistair Heath has been dropping for the past week or so, from August the 7th, August the 10th. There's ones talking about things from Britain's Jews, a right to fear the rise of Restore, and then talking about from Churchill to Harry Kane, Britons who are not British, according to Rupert Lowe. Then it's Lowe praised Restore activists who blamed Israel for 9/11. That's 3 already. Alistair Heath is furious that Restore Britain used the word genocide about Gaza. That's another one. And then another one from August the 9th. This is 5 now.
So yeah, he's a praise Zionist. That's obvious then. Yeah, and I'm sorry, but what sickens me is that shaming anyone who objects to the Gaza genocide. That's just it's worthy of a load of swear words. But I will abstain them this time. But yeah, carry on, Mr. Future Shock.
Well, I was literally just going to say, and I think the last one I found was from August the 9th, where he's saying, we are witnessing the emergence of a 21st century vicious fascism. So, I mean, not much new kind of tactics here, but it's just it was quite relentless.
But he sounds like, this is the kind of rhetoric from the left. This could be some Kamala Harris could have said this. Hillary Clinton could have said this. Keir Starmer could have said this, right? This is left-wing rhetoric, but this man is apparently positioned on the right, for UK politics. So anyway, on the 7th of August, 2026, Rupert Lowe's racist cheerleaders can no longer hide their despicable extremism. That reminds me of Hillary Clinton. She called the basket of deplorables.
Yeah.
It's like as if it's from the same script, as if it's the same briefing that he's reading the same script as people like Hillary Clinton. This targets online supporters and associates around Restore. Heath criticizes Lowe for failing to distance himself from extreme views, inflammatory language, and people beyond the pale. Well, no, that's precisely why Lowe is so popular, because he's actually pointing out the reality of what's going on. Because the thing is, most of the Rupert Lowe related content on X, it all revolves around mostly videos of what's actually going on in the streets of this country, isn't it? And that's often framed as we must restore Britain. But there's nothing artificial or deceptive about it. It's just reporting what's going on. So that's what he's coming out with. And this guy, this is the moderately interesting thing. So other people have pointed out that Alistair Heath he studied. He went to London School of Economics, which is the same hot-fetid womb which gave rise to George Soros. And what people don't know, perhaps, if I can share this tab. Oh, that's worked surprisingly well. It's the Fabian Society who funded the London School of Economics.
Really?
Yeah. The Fabian Society founded the London School of Economics in 1895. So let's see. So the Fabian Society, if we're not familiar with it, it's an organization, a left-wing organization. It's a socialist organization, but rather than the violent sort of overnight, the revolution, the way to change society through violent revolution, they believe in incremental creeping through the institutions until they have full dominance, and then they will unleash socialism on us all. So everything that's happening in the UK and also Europe is in line with the goals of the Fabian Society. Keir Starmer is a member of the Fabian Society, isn't he? And most front benchers are.
And when you look at these, I'm just looking at Alistair Heath, just one of those 5 or 6 hit pieces he did. One of these is the we are witnessing the emergence of a 21st century British fascism piece. When you look at the actual comments, he is getting ratioed like anything. Comments like, we are witnessing more Tory traitors, utter shite. The more you call them fascists, the more ordinary men and women with ordinary thoughts of patriotism think, why does this feel so normal? Can you explain how? I've cancelled my subscription, and not even missing any out. It is literally comment after comment after comment is having a go at him. It's kind of crazy, and it's the same for all of the pieces, because I remember being randomly linked to them. And you know, when you're live on the show, you want to find something, you can't find it quickly. But in my day-to-day life, X shows me these things quite willingly, and I remember just going through each time I've seen an Alistair Heath hit piece over the past week or so. All the comments are just slating him. There is quite genuinely nobody supporting him, which is very encouraging, because these people can try as they might. But, you know, the more people that stand up against it, kind of like we said last week, linking it back into 1984, it's going to be the working class that are going to kind of have to take up the baton on this one.
Okay, yeah. I think, 1984, George Orwell wrote that if there's any hope, it lies in the proles. Because he sort of believed that despite what he perceived as ignorance, they were not sort of mental slaves, the way the outer party, and what he means is I think he must be referring somewhat to the middle class, and it's funny how liberal and left-wing the UK middle class is, and it is sort of true that most of support for reform and restore comes from is working class. I think you might agree. Do you think?
There really is nobody, like, if I working in the NHS, as people are probably kind of like aware that I do now. When I think about it, that is so true in terms of, like, I think about the demographics that I work with. There is genuinely, I'm struggling to think of one single person who would side with Restore. Fuck's sake, I can't even
talk. What do you call them?
Restore. I did call them the proper thing. I thought I mispronounced it for a second then. But there's like no.
Well, it's Restore. It's not necessarily Restore, but maybe it is. I don't know.
But yeah, there's nobody who would be a supporter of theirs. They're exactly how you just described in terms of that sort of like
into Restore
liberals. And that's why I keep quiet about these things at work. There's no point. I'm outnumbered significantly.
Yeah, you have to sort of wear that workplace camouflage.
I just don't get involved in those chats because, like, I'm gonna say something. Do you know what I mean? I can't be fake. So I think it's best sometimes just to crack on with whatever I'm doing work-wise and just let them talk about it. That's cool, whatever.
You can't win though, because there'll probably be a kind of workplace right-wing panic, and there'll be like these these meetings or these sort of circulars where they sort of warn people to keep their eye on colleagues who don't talk to their workmates. They may be far right extremists.
They maybe they're getting to that point.
Hiding their power level.
They do a regular one about anti-Semitism. That's been going for the past year or so.
So I bet it's like a carousel. It's the same thing every time. That's what it's going to do.
Yeah, basically. I will say, actually, just to sort of stick up for where I work, like the particular department that I work in, they are actually quite decent, but there are certain, you can have a bit more of an open-minded conversation, but it is generally best to keep it on the down low. But there are certain departments, other departments close to where I sit, that you just no, it's just a hotbed of liberalism, and it's not for someone like me or you. We're not gonna get along with people there for sure.
Probably a lot of feminine energy there. Do you know what I mean?
Basically, yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You're not really, no man is on his element really, unless he's working on an oil rig or he's plumbing or something, or he's welding, and then he doesn't have to give it. That building site, say what they want, can't you? No one's gonna tone police lads on the building site. Or scaffolders or anything like that. I think that's what Orwell meant. He says they only hope lies with the scaffolders.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a decreasing, back in the day, it was way more open-minded. I've worked pretty much in the same trust for 20 odd years now, and so I've been able to kind of witness how it's changed over that time, and it's certainly not as open-minded in as many places, or hardly anywhere really. It's very rare to find, so it's nice actually when you stumble across a staff member who's a bit more open-minded, because he's kind of unique. Not that there are kind of like bad people there, but I guess people, they have their life.
He might be a Goldsmith. Was it Goldsmith? The character from 1984, the rebellion leader that they all try and hook up with. Do you remember that?
There's a lot. When I watched
he's just a fake, and there is no rebellion, and that signing up with Goldsmith incriminates you even more.
The last time I read 1984, I was at school, so that goes to show you how long ago that was.
Oh, Goldstein, Emmanuel Goldstein.
It would be.
Yeah. So by the way, I actually didn't know this. I know we always talk about George Soros, but actually George Soros is presently under investigation from the Justice Department. This started last year. Directed to prepare criminal investigations into George Soros' Open Society Foundations. Not a moment too soon. Should have done that in his first term. Following Trump's public calls for action against him and his son Alex. So August 2025, Trump posted on Truth Social calling for RICO charges against George Soros and his son Alex, accusing them of supporting violent protests. Well, that's certainly true. I don't think there's any doubt, but I mean, the thing is, the way Open Society funds it, it's sort of, it's like kind of Russian dolls. It's like in funding organizations that fund organizations that eventually fund the thing they're trying to fund in the first place, kind of thing. So like a Russian, so very sort of, they don't directly, I mean, they obviously directly fund the Democrat Party. There's no secret about that. And as I pointed out, they funded that. They founded and funded this group. What was it called again? I can't remember what it was called. The organization.
You're not talking about the Open Society now.
No, I'm talking about There's another one. The one that specifically organized the No Kings protest, among other things.
But this is the thing; they're clearly organized as well. They're clearly very, very organized. I'm not sure which one you're meaning, to be honest.
So Soros also supports Ilhan Omar and people like Chuck Schumer. Indivisible. The group's name is Indivisible.
Oh, right,
So Soros linked. Oh no. So okay. Yeah. So people like Ilhan Omar, all the disruptors of society, basically in American and UK society, they're all backed by George Soros Open Society Foundation.
Ilhan Omar, who repeatedly tells everyone how much she loves Somalia and the motherland, and then continues to live in America. There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason for that, eh? I don't know.
Did that was it Bananas and Rice woman? Did she actually get deported, or was she a citizen? Remember her?
Bananas and Rice. What was
Bananas
that?
and Rice, yeah. That Somalian spokesperson who went asked to describe what it was like being Somalian. All she could, just dribble is banana and rice. You could just talk about bananas and rice.
I remember. Yeah, it's a really
literally had no cognitive ability to express any sort of abstract ideas about how she felt about her country. Absolute moron.
Yeah, she was stood in front, and I remember the clip, because there was kind of like people stood behind her, sort of shifting uncomfortably, like, oh dear, this isn't going very well. I don't think she got deported, though. I didn't read that she got deported, so I'm just looking it up here. I don't think she did. I've got I know the one here, the kind of goofy looking one, and then there's just a lot of goofy look. They're all goofy looking anyway, and aren't they just these people, these leftoid people? And, I don't know. They're like cartoon characters.
Yeah, so September 2025, senior DOJ official sent a memo to multiple U.S. attorney offices. Plans to investigate OSF charges including racketeering, wire fraud, arson, money laundering, support for terrorism. Can you imagine? That's incredible. But
is that because they're terrorism now? Because obviously they class Antifa now as a terrorist organization. Yeah. So that's probably
exactly,
what that's.
Yeah.
Well, how realistic is it? I was just going to say, like, how realistic is it, though, that anything could really come of this? Like, given the power that Soros and all the different pies, all these fingers are in. I mean, is it really, like, what is going to come of an investigation like this, really? I feel like sometimes these things are just...
It'll depend. It'll depend on a lot of factors. It'll depend on how much kind of political currency Trump has, how much of a mandate he has to shake the shit tree. And that means a lot. That could, that depends on what's going to happen in the midterms. That depends on the Iran conflict. It just, a lot of things sort of have to sort of come together for Trump. Yeah, I mean, George Soros is the master lawyer. He's got the Open Society Justice Foundation. He's pumped billions, countless billions into this. He's got these lawyers, and they hassle governments. They draft papers. They control academia. Yeah, they're extremely powerful. So he's literally face to face with the swamp monster in George Soros. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But then again, most people don't even know that that's happening right now, and probably most people don't even know who George Soros is, right? So
there's a kind of like fractal from that. Did you see that Andy Burnham thing recently? I'm just trying to add the scene. Hang on 1 second. I just got a little thing here about when he's talking about wealthy areas. Here we go. That wealthy areas must play their part in housing asylum seekers, Burnham suggests, which is interesting because remember last week I was talking about, we kind of got to the 1984 bit originally by me saying that I felt that when wealthy areas are being more affected by the increased crime and stuff from migrants and migrant hotels, nearby hotels and stuff like this, then we might see some movement in terms of stopping it, proper movement, when it's the wealthier, maybe more powerful people who are being more affected. And lo and behold, it could get quite interesting on that in that respect, because as you can see on the screen, he's come out with saying that everyone must play their part, including these wealthy areas in housing asylum seekers. So I'm quite curious to see how this is going to play out, because this will be areas where there'll be people there who might wield a bit more power than the proles, so to speak.
Yeah.
But none of us. But just to say, sorry, like he's saying like, oh, we must all play our part. Well, what? Like none of us agreed to this, though. Whether you're a wealthy person or middle class or lower class person, nobody wanted this to happen. So why are you saying that we must now all play our part? I mean,
this is crazy. The way he's talking, it's like we have to share our beds with him. It's like, what do we mean? What do you mean by that? Is he going to start like increasing taxes on people who don't house a migrant in their spare bedroom?
This guy's saying exactly what I was saying. I just highlighted here. I want to see truckloads of illegal migrants dumped in Cheshire, Windsor, St Albans, Kensington, and Hampshire, blah, blah. House them all near to where the rich people live. Yeah,
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, with places like Chelsea, Westminster, Kensington, they're already the most dangerous place in the country in terms of mugging and street crime. So people living there, I think I mentioned last week how I saw that Chinese guy down, was it Brompton Road or something, thinking he was coming to London to show off being a Chinese millionaire, and it somehow pretty rapidly fell from his face when his Rolex was stolen by two people on a moped. Two not exactly British men, shall we say?
Yeah, don't come to London to show off bling or to show off your wealth. This is not the place to do it now, unfortunately, these days.
But I don't know that things will change too much, to be honest, when the so-called rich start getting grief, because the working class are the majority in the country, and they're also the people most likely to risk their careers or risk their life, literally risk their life to make videos and produce content. Whereas I don't know, the wealthy middle class, particularly professionals, they can't speak up because many of them might be working in the professions where they've signed declarations they're dedicated to equal opportunities and multicultural dogma and all that. They literally do sign and attend the training like you talked about. And that training, it's relentless and it's always the same thing, almost on a weekly basis. It's just it's like reprogramming. It's just updating the just layer on the conditioning one more time until it's all. That's why you notice when you get training in professional environments, it's just always the same thing, just one of a handful of things. It's all about various multicultural issues, and people are so used to the sheer repetition of it, and also they're worried about their families and paying their mortgages and their second home and holidays and Caribbean, but they've got to maintain their lifestyle, don't you know? So they're not going to rock the boat too soon, mate, to be honest with you, yeah?
Well, this is the thing. This is how they can kind of like subtly slide these things in on a sort of Fabian Society-esque kind of like slow burner mode. Because, like you say, people are distracted kind of correctly, obviously, by family matters, by job matters, by their day-to-day pressures and this sort of thing. So they don't really maybe even have time to pay attention. You may scroll a bit, you may doom scroll a bit and see a few headlines here and there, but there's nobody really organized. There's nobody who's really got the will or even the time or energy to really organize on top of their job, dealing with their family, blah, blah. Come the end of the day, I mean, who's really going to have time to then get their teeth sunk into kind of battling back against stuff like this? So that's the thing. The Fabian Society's tactic is actually a decent tactic in of itself, because it kind of preys on that, and you just sort of slowly let it in, slowly under the radar, and then people will start to notice when it's too late.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm just going to Soros also, he funded. Let's see. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, it's not sharing. That's annoying. Zoran Mandami, he was funded by Open Society Foundations.
Right. Okay.
37 million since 2016 to the Working Families Party. Indirectly. So I suppose that's something to do with Zoran Mandami. These organizations endorsed Mandani, provided So you see, that's how Soros does it. He funds an organization that works with the target of his philanthropy, shall we say. So he funded Zoran Mandani indirectly by giving money to the Working Families Party. And then there were at least 9 other left-leaning organizations: Make the Road Action, Community Voices Heard, Move On. Never heard of these. But these organizations, all part of the community, all endorsed Mandani and provided organizational infrastructure, ran get out of the vote efforts that helped him win the 2025 mayoral primary over Andrew Cuomo. But no actual large direct donations. But you see, that's how he does it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, well, she knows what's his name, Mamdani? Because did you remember when he first got into office and he did that? The first thing he released was a video asking for donations.
Yeah.
But the first thing, literally, as soon as he got into office, the next day a video dropped and it's him on a rooftop asking people for donations to. It's craziness. It's just so hilarious. I thought it was like a piss take video. I thought it was something that someone had mocked up, but it was actually him doing it. So I mean, it's crazy, this man.
I want to know what's going on with Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah, you're saying what?
So I actually haven't seen this myself yet.
Yeah.
I've been checking this guy out. This guy, moderately interesting, I guess.
Breaking news, breaking litigation in the ad.
Yeah.
In the pre-show chat, you asked what was going on with Tate and the court trial. Tomorrow there's a hearing whether he will be granted bail, I believe.
That's it. Yeah. It was. I knew it was a Thursday.
Yeah. But I think he's been sort of complaining about the conditions of his confinement, hasn't he? Quite vociferously.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying they've got like 1 hour of time out of the prison cell per day, and like they just get like minimal food, and I can't remember a lot of the complaint, but they're in there with a bunch
of drink water out of the toilet or something.
I can't remember exactly. He had a list of
out the shower, I think. Yeah.
But it is a bit weird. It's kind of like, well, what are you doing with them then? Because like they haven't actually been convicted of anything. So, and it is like, what's going on with that?
I know. Well, that's the thing. But then
it's designed to break them.
They can be safely considered a flight risk. But then the opposite of that is the thing. They're in the process of litigation in Romania, are they not? And Trump granted them leave to leave Romania. But I think that case is ongoing in Romania, is it not?
Well, basically, the case, as far as I understand it, they're trying to find more evidence. They basically haven't produced enough evidence to actually convict them with anything. So they're in the process of like returning a lot of their possessions, and they've essentially been released, I believe, is the situation. I might have that slightly wrong. I've not been following it super closely. But yeah, I thought that was kind of over now, and they're just like, because basically the only thing they've been convicted of is the tax fraud, which a couple of years ago when this started, I did sort of predict to a couple of people at work that I was talking to about this, that most likely the only thing they'll get done for is the tax stuff, because it seemed very blatant that they fucked the girls over with that. And lo and behold, yeah, they had like a £6 million fine for that. But yeah, the rest of the stuff, I don't know. We'll see, isn't it? I mean, did you see that there was a little clip? I was trying to find it while you were talking. I can't find the clip. But it's Keir Starmer talking about his thing with Andrew Tate is personal. And I just wonder whether this has coincided very closely with Starmer leaving office. I just wonder if Starmer's pulled a few strings as kind of a last act after leaving office to kind of put the Tates in jail as a kind of like fuck you to them sort of thing just before he leaves office. Because obviously, like Andrew Tate has been very kind of like super critical and vociferously critical on X about Keir Starmer, has just been rinsing him for
right.
God knows how long. So it could be a little bit of a Starmer yeah. I wish I could find the bloody clip. I did see the clip. Again, it's when you're trying to find something, I need to just bookmark everything I see for this show.
What I do is I just open a Word document and save the URL, and then just stick the URL in a Word document, and then I can just click that and it opens it up, Because what we can't do, and it's annoying, you can't simply save the page, because that you think, oh, okay, I'll save the page. But then that's no longer an active web page, and there's nothing you can do on God's earth to make that an active web page again, which is the most annoying thing ever. So I've decided the only way to do it is just to copy the URL and just stick it into the Word document.
I mean, it is amazing that Starmer's banged on so much about how like he's determined to combat violence against women when he's one of the chief perpetrators of it. because it's him who back in 2003 passed the law to allow illegals to claim benefits in this country, thus encouraging more people to come to the country, thus encouraging, you know, the assaults and, you know, the massive rise in like rape and assaults over the past sort of like 22 years, which we clearly see. So it's quite rich for him to sort of claim that he's trying to combat violence against women when he's created a law which has caused a massive increase in violence and, you know, sexual assaults against women. Just, oh mate, I can't stand the guy, honestly.
Yeah, it's that weird kind of left-wing schizoid mindset, you know, where they say the exact, they pretend, yeah, it's just insane. They play the part of their, you know, the virtuous hero, but they're the ones creating the chaos. It's insane. I mean, they must be mentally ill. They must be. Without obviously stigmatizing mental illness, but mental illness isn't good for anyone.
Or possessed. Like, you look at people like Blair.
Or hypnotized. Yeah. Like, more like hypnotized. Or under some kind of light hypnosis, you know?
I mean, Keir Starmer himself always looked like someone who's speaking as if like he has to say certain things because there's a load of dirt on him that could be released if he doesn't toe the line. I almost like every time I see him speak, or when he was prime minister anyway, every time I saw him speak, it was almost as if he had to be very careful what he said. Otherwise, you may see like a red dot appear on his forehead. Kind of like that. I don't know if you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Principal Skinner is captured and he has to pretend that he's not captured, and he sees Bart and he's like, he's in this shed, and they open the door and Bart opens the shed door and this sort of beat up Principal Skinner's standing there. And Bart's like, oh, what happened to you? And Skinner goes, oh, I believe it was a boking accident. And you hear this and a red dot appears on his forehead. It's like any little wrong move from Starmer in one of his speeches, I expected to see like a little red dot.
He always looks like he's sweating, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
He always looks like he's like caught in the act of doing something he shouldn't.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. He's got that guilty look all over his face.
Yeah. Let's just see if we can find out what's this.
Andrew and Tristan Tate saga. I know that.
I don't know what this could be. I don't know. There's a lot going on, particularly new. But anyway,
content is being pushed out about these two right now on my channel. That is because this is the week of litigation and responses back and forth. You know, that they have put out, and they want to push this hearing now to essentially end of the month, I believe. We have asked
pushing the hearing to the end of the month. Is that right? We have asked the court to move Andrew and Tristan Tate's bail hearing to the end of the month. Oh, interesting. Not tomorrow, potentially.
Just keeping them in these conditions for extra time.
Interesting. Yeah. United States government filed a brief. Drip's falsehood, so they're responding. They need more time, perhaps, to respond to this brief that was released on Monday. The entire pleadings built baiters into spending a hearing about human liberty, wiping filth off the floor, instead of proving the case for freedom. Government does not. Okay, so we will answer their brief the way it deserves to be answered, lie by lie. I guess they need more time then, yeah? So for 48 hours, we've watched our enemies work hand in glove with the mainstream media designed to destroy them in court on August the 13th. So imagine pay for the delay by enjoying 2 more weeks. Yeah, he makes that point that they'll be there for 2 more weeks. This is the price innocent men must pay when the process is the punishment. Innocent men walk towards the fight. Guilty men flee from it. So it doesn't actually say. It seems they need more time to.
Yeah, basically the news is just a delay.
Defense, Interesting. Anyway, so just see if there's anything.
Asked statement of Joseph McBride, attorney for Andrew and Tristan Tate. We have asked documents, and when the hearing comes, the court will hear about pain. But in doing so, they showed us their entire playbook that they have found in the dictionary to be put in this very emphatic statement. Let's just say, because I just find it to be utterly appalling. I really hope the judge denies this. I don't want this bail hearing to be pushed.
Okay, so yes, there's the option of denying that. So that's okay. So interesting. So obviously he doesn't like Tate. I mean, obviously I don't particularly like Tate either. But
yeah, I mean, look, I can't. You know, we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. There's nothing much more you can really say. Is that I get what they're saying. They have a lot. They probably have a lot to reply to. So they need more time to sort it out. So well, let's just see what happens, innit?
Yeah. Also, slightly interesting is apparently the George Soros has not funded the Democrat Party yet this year, which apparently is something he loves to do every year. So it's almost as if. Did you see that? What is it? The election for who would stand in for the Senate between the Democrats. So basically the other day the Democrat Party stole the election from themselves. So they had this sort of revolutionary socialist who was standing and who was the favorite to win, but suddenly there was a last-minute ballot dump of about 40,000 ballots that are all for the moderate Democrat candidate. So I think Soros is sort of making his mind up where he's going to put his money. Which Democrat Party does he want to see? Does he want to see the sort of the neo the neo conversion, the Hillary Clinton, or this sort of Kamala Harris, or more like the Zoran Mandami, the sort of out and out commie? I mean, is the Democrat Party going to go communist? And it seems that George Soros is going to sort of decide by funding the appropriate candidate which way it's going to go. So I've got this article. Is that your article?
Yeah. I was just about to say.
Okay, I only got a video, but that's cool. Yeah, nice.
So yeah, he's just saying about how his son donated nearly $500,000 during the 2018 midterms, but they haven't given anything yet. And it's not just them. Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, wrote steady checks to the DNC for years, but has yet to give money. Running joke among donors is DNC stands for Do Not Contribute. Yes, donors say they feel disillusioned with Washington and the party establishment. Well, okay. What's their alternative then?
Well, the alternative is people like Zoran Mandani, who promise you free buses but end up just stealing your house and giving it to them.
The funny thing about it was kind of like, I was saying just now about the video, like it was all these promises of free stuff, and yet obviously it was a pre-made video as well, because it dropped a few hours after he got elected, literally a few hours, and everyone was just laughing because it was clearly pre-made. And so all this guff about free this, free that, and the first thing they do is ask you for money. It's just quite funny, man.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, we'll take a music break. So I'm going to play San Panfrisco. Was it 8 minutes long? So we're going to have an 8 minutes, 20-second break there, Future Shock.
No worries.
Yeah, we've gone for an hour, so let's take a little breather, and then we'll come back after the video, after the music video.
8 minutes. All right, cool.
Hey, mate, catch you in 8 minutes, Hod, yeah? Cheers. This doesn't sync. Listen, if you're watching this, I need to remake this video. In fact, I've already remade it, but I'm so annoyed when I see this because the hitting the drums, it doesn't sync up with the sound. But anyway, never mind. All right, just continue. See you later, guys. After this.
Your vagrants hogging up the pavements. Don't know what to tell you, but I'm not sure I can smell you when it's not that fucking fragrant. Some mad gypsy, more than slightly tipsy, free as a bird without a wing. He's going to turn up in his filthy nipsy. there's one look-case, so it's in your personal space, and he's blabbering and jabbering his shit breath in your face. He's a lunatic bruiser, dipsomatic loser, crackhead, smackhead, cigarette, common death, full-time loser. A red light in the door used to indicate a horror. It was an immoral profession, so discretion was the key. It was all say no more. Now if you get a bone, you can openly get blown. It's all sucking and meth cooking in the squalid motherfucking fucking no-go zone. Well, it's all mummery and fuckery and mummery and druggery and pimping and pimping. It's all fucking mummery. Say that I'm lucky, it could easily be me. Well, I'm shocked, cause if it was, I'd simply say that I would act gentlemanly. And match goes as if you fucking fuck good enough. You think I'll to you go for a splash. To keep a slow flow, gonna need a bigger boat. I can sympathize with as you watch the odds and disregard this with every vote. Perpetually annoyed, bullshit artist, scream just fucking tempted cream to believe he was a saint who never tanked his spot with opioids. Bring them back from the beyond, but with friends and will you know we killed so many that the medics in the magic wand. And the gangs are going ape, pass and murder, theft and rape. This obsession with progression turned out really city into a hellscape. They defunded the cops and the crime never stops. So if you had that, the local fellas on their empty shelves and closed down shops. Anti-Pharaoh one at the barrel of a gun, cause the junkies and protesters, cause the potential investors to the tail and run. Say is I remember a day when a certain man called Callahan would calmly pull his piece and pull his punks away.
Privilege, point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
In rooms that are available, there's a range of options, right? Please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent. Is there anybody here who's done abortion clinic escort work? Don't talk to MAGA assholes. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered.
Soros find this film Bulgari. It's a classic 70s thriller. Well, it concerns a cop who's out there to stop a truly sadistic killer. Clint plays the titular Harry, the cop with a 44, who forges a path between justice and wrath with scalping after the law. Robinson as Scorpio should have won an Oscar that year, because his performance was so electrifying the film almost killed his career. Imagine being so good at acting that you actually make people sick. I've only seen him in two other films, Hellraiser and Charlie Barrick. So Harry tries to expedite things because he knows this is something unique. He knows that this is a new kind of monster. He knows that this is a new kind of freak. And he knows the killer's identity. And he knows the killer's address. But his superiors constantly fucking go on about due fucking process. Well, Harry don't care what the press says, because he knows this boy has to die. Harry's a real man with morals. Harry's a true stand-up guy. So Harry ignores all his bosses and he disregards every rule. And in the tradition of every great western, it ends up two guys in a duel. Now Harry recycles his monologue. Did he shoot 6 shots of 5? goggles and goes for his gun so certain that he will survive. But now he's got one left this time, so Scorpio just ends up wrecked. The credits roll, and as a whole, the film is simply fucking perfect. Now when the time critics disliked it, and they dismissed the film as far right, it seems that some things never change, you know. Film critics will always talk shine. So the studio under pressure, with a pitiful show of remorse, got Cimino to pen a sequel, the apology Magnum Force.
I know what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Now, to tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement. But being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and will blow your head clean off, you could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
So yeah, that was Sam Pan Frisco featuring Dirty Harry by Sandwich Pan. Now, that is also the very end of that anyway, the Dirty Harry little bit with the loaded Magnum. That was actually sampled by DJ Hazard in famous, in fact, I think he did it as a Dirty Harry alternative pen name. And yeah, that was, I can't remember the tune name, but DJ Hazard used to sample a lot of classic old movies. And yeah, Dirty Harry is one of them. True Spoon appears to have disappeared. I'm not sure where he is. So hopefully he will be back joining us soon. I'm just going to take this off the screen. So yeah, I mean, one thing I was going to talk about, I'm sure he'll be back soon. But one thing I was going to talk about was this saga that's going on in the WNBA, which is, of course, the Women's National Basketball Association. And basically, it's about these two guys, Ines Freedom and Joyce Smith. Now, if I just find for a second the article I had about it, essentially, these two guys, it's kind of hilarious. Let me just get to the window up here. Hopefully True Spoon will be back soon, but in the meantime, let's just have a look at this crazy little story that's coming out of America, a developing story which is due to develop even more. If this would actually just let me add it, let's just try here. Oh, True Spoon might be back actually.
I'm right back here. Yeah. Okay. Great. That was a bit. Yeah, that was weird.
What happened there?
Something to do with my VPN. So I switched from using Holland to America, and now it seems to be a bit more stable. So yeah.
Well, I was just about to talk about this WNBA trans thing. So I'm not sure. Yeah. So basically, I was about to share the screen here. Let me just have a look. So basically, these two chaps, the one on the left is called Ines Freedom, the one on the right is called Joyce Smith. Now, these two chaps have decided to enlist themselves in the WNBA, which of course stands for the Women's National Basketball Association over there in America. And the idea being, because the WNBA has a clause or a policy, let's say, written in that allows biological men to compete in the NBA, the WNBA, ergo allowing for trans people, men essentially sort of thinking that they're women, playing with other actual biological women, and a lot of the time kind of like roughing them up. If you look at Brittany Griner is one. This is one that was actually captured in Russia and put in prison in Russia recently.
Oh, I see. It's more like a better veiled threat. I didn't think of that aspect of it, the actual physical violence.
So basically, the way they're doing it is
trolling, aren't they? They've done this as a troll.
They're trolling, but the thing is, a lot of the trans community has come out and said, well, you know, they're doing this, but they're not going to actually draft them onto the teams. They're not actually going to get to play in the WNBA. But the thing about that is, basically, they're going to have the way these things work. It's about the April 2027 draft. So these guys have enlisted themselves in the April 27 draft. Pre-draft, they always have camps. So they have these basketball camps where they play games and they demonstrate their skills. And obviously there's scouts there that look at all the players who they want to pick in the draft. So the trans community is saying, oh, well, they're just not going to get picked. Well, if they aren't, if they're rejected, they will then be able to sue the league for discrimination, because they're going to be pitching, they're going to be dominating everyone, 50 points, 60 points a game. So why would they be rejected? Well, they'd be rejected on the basis of the fact that they're biological men. But we've always been told that if she says she's a woman, then she's a woman. That's what we've been told for years now. Are you suggesting that they're faking it? How can you tell? How can you tell when somebody is faking being trans? You need to give specific observable criteria. And the beauty of this situation is that now that WNBA has to, which is a very progressive woke organization, this is kind of why it's being done, to really have a bit of a dig at them, because they're getting a bit insufferable. Anybody who kind of follows like American sports knows that the WNBA, the last sort of year or so, has just become full of insufferable weirdos. And the beauty of this is the organization now has to scramble to define an objective criteria for determining when a trans woman is a real trans woman. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because these two guys are going to keep doing this. And there may be more there's more people who are talking about joining them. So, and it's funny, I've linked this little quote here from someone called Dr. Rita Dead with God knows how many flags next to their name, saying that, you know, we need to protect women from predatory men like them, not celebrate them. Women's sports should be all for women, including trans women, not men pretending. And that's kind of been the point all along, though, hasn't it? That these are men who are pretending, essentially. And so now when men come along who are pretending, then that's a problem. So I don't know. I just find this kind of hilarious, and I'm going to follow this and see how this all pans out. So I'll do an update as we sort of go along in the coming weeks. So, but yeah, they can clear at the moment.
How much violence there is in the trans movement. These guys will probably need to invest in private security.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they're not exactly inconspicuous either. These guys, I think one of them's 6'10", and the other one's about 6'8". So, you know, they're definitely going to have targets on their back, you know. But yeah, I mean, the WNBA is currently scrambling now to rewrite their policy for next year's draft. They got a few months to do it. Obviously, it's going to be April 27, so we'll see how the next few months go on. But I just thought
these two explicitly say that they were doing it for a certain reason.
Oh no, they're not. They're not saying that they're trolling. They're going along with the. If I look up let me just get one of their.
I thought they were trolling. I thought they were doing it to show how ridiculous.
They are clearly trolling, but they're not saying that as such. They're just sort of going along.
Yeah, because obviously, if they said that, then they'd be admitting that they're lying. So yeah, they got to put it. They got to play it straight. You know, what is that? His page?
No, this is a different one. I can't find a bloody. But yeah, they're coming out with the sort of stuff like, oh, you know, how can you say that you know that I'm not, you know, thinking that I'm a real woman? And basically, they're trolling with the usual stuff that trans people will say, you know, in reality, like, you know, in their own post sort of thing. And it's all just making a big mockery of the ridiculousness of the situation, which I'm totally all for. So we'll keep an eye on that over the next few months. It could get quite interesting. And it'd be very interesting to see how the WNBA rewrites its policy to differentiate between, you know, men who are pretending to be women and men who are pretending to be women. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be quite interesting from a legal perspective.
Did you see Benny Binface?
Oh no, what's he been? Do you know what I do see with him? He gets a lot of fucking views. He gets like hundreds of thousands of views on his YouTube. He's killing it.
I know. But like I say, he spends his time licking Alistair Campbell's butthole. You know, he has interviews with all the establishment lackeys, and they all treat him like he's their best mate.
I mean, these are serious times.
Okay, so apparently this was this Newsnight or something?
Why don't you bin off the bin on Newsnight now? We know that your name is John, and we know really a lot about you. Isn't this time for serious times to bin off the bin?
Oh, here we go. I mean, has anyone here seen Return of the Jedi? Nobody wants to know what's underneath a recyclone. It's disgusting. It's absolutely putrefying. No, if you want to be serious with me, I'll tell you, you want to talk to Count Binface, and then you get me on Newsnight, and you start trying to deconstruct a character. I would say, what are we doing here on a program which used to construct proper investigative journalism and now is a souped-up podcast, Paddy?
Great.
Okay, so yeah, I noticed the Lotus Eaters had spotted that. That's what Binface is up to these days.
Yeah, I mean, are people still
low-calorie mockery of the BBC? Yeah.
I mean, I've not really looked at stuff he's done the past sort of couple of weeks, or like, I mean, when people are commenting, are they kind of like, are they getting that he's a bit of a shill, or are they kind of like going along with it? I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, that's as far as my interest goes. Just what's he up to?
When is that? When is this election anyway? That he's in with everyone else.
I do not know. I can easily remedy that by looking it up and Googling it. Was it Clapton, right? Yes, Clapton. By-election.
No idea, bro.
I don't know.
By-election will be held tomorrow.
Are you kidding me?
This is from the Independent website.
Damn. All that eclipse just, threw my eye off the Clacton ball. But yeah, okay, tomorrow.
So we'll know by, I don't know, Friday morning, early hours of Friday morning, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So
who's actually in it then?
They aren't running, are they? Are they running?
This is what I'm just trying to find out. Actually,
it would be good to.
Oh yes, okay. So Labour Party, Tories, Liberal Democrats, Greens, and Restore will not stand candidates.
Oh yeah, well, why have Restore decided to do that? Because it would have been a really good opportunity to
grab a seat.
See how much of the vote Restore, risk how much of the vote Reform risk losing in these working class areas, and how much Restore would take.
So what did you think?
A missed opportunity there, to be honest with you.
In the intro you made, you obviously alluded to the failed pact between Reform and Restore. I mean, what do you think about that? Because I remember when Restore, earlier on in the year, I was talking to someone when Restore, and I can't even believe Restore's only been going since February, by the way. It's kind of mad. I remember saying back at the time, though, that what could be a good idea is for them to combine with Reform, just because then it's not. I felt that they couldn't get as much of the market share, but then that was back in February. March. I mean, they've done remarkably well in just a short space of time to get the amount of support they have. So I still think it might not be a bad idea, because they're just going to take votes away from each other, and they're going to kind of hand votes to the more established parties. That's the kind of worry for me. I don't know if either of them at the moment have enough clout to win enough seats, but if they combine, that maybe they've got more chance for me. But it's whatever, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So what's been going on with the pact? Yeah. So it was back in was it the 2nd of August, Lowe posted the 12-minute video. But his conditions were quite sort of. Apparently Farage replied that in terms of policy, there's no problem, but it was Lowe demanding that he sack Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman that kind of made Farage sort of put his back up, because he says he's not going to drop them. And the thing is, Lowe's sort of reason for singling out Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman is that they were responsible for a massive surge in legal migration. So, although there was a drop in illegal crossings from some 35,000 to 25,000 in that year, legal migration came to 900,000 in that year, I believe. So the problem remains, just because the borders are still effectively unprotected in the sense. I mean, nearly 1 million people have been allowed legally to come in. It's still the same result, whether they, are illegal immigrants. They're still immigrants, and they're still changing the culture of the country and changing its demographic. It's relatively unchanged demographic makeup for that have been in place for thousands, 1,000 years or so. But for us pushing back, he's refusing to. And in return, he's put a condition on Lowe that he fire Charlie Downs, because Charlie Downs accused Farage of being up for sale from the Jewish lobby. And this has really upset Farage. So there's no question of... So it's all depending on other characters, Charlie Downs, Suella Braverman, Rob Jenrick, what they decide to do with them.
I mean, Suella Braverman, to be fair, she was sort of critical of like high net migration sort of numbers, and had kind of like been urging the party to have stricter caps on work and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I have to say I don't know that much about the actual figures, so I can't really comment too much about it. But I remember her speaking out quite a lot about it. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's it, though. I mean, Suella Braverman had the appearance, of someone who generally was making the right noises about immigration, but the reality was completely opposite. Rupert Lowe has a legitimate basis for criticizing the record of Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick on illegal immigration. Just reading here from Grok. Small boat crossings peaked at 45,000. Jenrick was immigration minister between October 2022 and December 2023. So the migrant crossings actually fell to 29,000 in 2023. But insanely, the net migration reached 900,000 plus, nearly 1 million people.
Wow.
In the year to mid 2023. So this was all while Braverman was Home Secretary and Jenrick was the Immigration Minister. Nearly 1 million people came over, albeit legally, but still.
What was the time frame of that? Sorry,
this was 1 million people in the year to mid 2023. Like I said, this was when Jenrick was Immigration Minister, Braverman was Home Secretary.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that, just in connection with this, it just reminded me, I don't know if you saw that the dinghy bringing in 230 people, and people were saying, well, that is actually something that someone who has actually manufactured. Like, you don't get dinghies that fit 230 people in. Like, the thing is fucking huge. It means that someone is actually manufacturing dinghies specifically for illegal immigrants to cross the channel, it seems, and collect their British taxpayer-funded winnings. It's kind of crazy, because I didn't really think of that. Like, yeah, dinghies are small by definition. They're always like, not 230 people, not fitting 230 people.
Yeah.
So it seems that someone's behind this, and you can understand why they would be, but who? So
Farage was saying that they're made with balsa wood bottoms, so they sink on demand. They can be made to sink or something, and then they have to be rescued or something, right? I mean, I've no idea. I mean, I've no idea about how immigrant dinghies are constructed or who makes them, but that's all I can contribute to that talking point. Is
I mean, it's not the sort of thing they make in the yard, is it? This is a proper huge, like 230 people. That's a lot. That's a fucking huge. That is a boat. That is a boat, basically. You know what I mean? So
apparently, the Royal Navy collect them up, the used ones, and presumably, it wouldn't surprise me if they return them to exactly who, to the traffickers, and they get.
Thank you. Come again.
They get, they get a backhander, but who knows? But I was just going to go back to the Fabian Society because remember our friend Alistair Heath, editor of the Sunday Telegraph, and the latest Rottweiler who's been set up on Rupert Lowe. So right-wing media commentator apparently doing his best to scupper a possible friendship between Lowe and Farage. Attended the LSE. Fabian Society created the LSE, and the LSE. The Fabian Society and the LSE, the London School of Economics, have both faced repeated accusations of being communist, crypto-communist fellow travellers. This was particularly in the interwar period between the 1930s and 1950s and during the Cold War and Red Scares. That's the thing, though. The LSE now has integrated itself so much into the establishment that you don't realise you're dealing with a crypto-communist Fabian organisation. So the Fabians, they were democratic socialists and gradualists, and they consider they have something they believe in, the inevitability of gradualness. So they're not revolutionary Marxists. They reject the violent overthrow of the state, and they work through local government, research, parliament, and they permeate the institutions. It's the slow creep, the slow march through the institutions. That's what the communists call it. The leading Fabians, Sidney and Beatrice Webb, published Soviet Communism, A New Civilization. And they praised Stalin's system as a model of planned scientific administration and minimized or denied the scale of the purges, famine, and repression. Classic fellow traveling. Accusations against the LSE. So it was founded by Fabians and long associated with left-leaning social science. So it's unfortunate we never had like a McCarthy era because they would have dealt with the group like this. And so, they have this aura and illusion of respectability and establishment ties because they've been going so long. No one sort of thinks where they come from. They just seem like part of the British academic wallpaper. So they're extremely dangerous, and we can see through the activities of people like Alistair Heath what they're trying to do. They want to break up any attempt of the patriotic right to coalesce and to save attempts to save the country. And they want business as usual because business as usual is their communist takeover. That's what's going on. Yeah.
And listen, it's easier to control these people, isn't it? It's easier to control people who have been allowed to migrate over and been given all these kind of different perks and everything versus, an increasingly disenfranchised native population. And I don't know at what point we arrived at at what point we arrived at this conclusion or this conflation that just wanting to retain some national identity is somehow a racist bad thing. I mean, not so long ago, being patriotic, and I don't even class myself as typically patriotic as such, but I just don't really see what the issue is, like wanting to keep a country's, wanting to protect the individual national identity of a country. I mean, surely it's a good thing that England has, England would be different to Spain, would be different to the Philippines, would be different to Brazil, and then you'd have all your kind of like individual sort of characteristics that come from that. This idea of kind of leveling everything out is just a bit strange to me. And if you're kind of opposed to that, that makes you a racist somehow. It's just very weird. I mean, like these people are apparently very pro diversity intranationally, but not pro-diversity internationally, because obviously
there's never any calls for the Nigerian football team to be more white, is there?
This is exactly what I was going to say. You wouldn't want Nigeria to be like full of white British people suddenly. If white Brits suddenly started became like 60% of Lagos, everyone would be up in arms. The same people would be up in arms who are up in arms about people wanting to be patriotic or put flags outside their houses. I mean, it genuinely is a brass eye skit that, you put a flag outside your house and then other British people come along and call you a racist. It's literally like a comedy sketch from the 90s.
Well, it's crabs in buckets, isn't it? Yeah,
crabs in buckets.
Oh yeah, you've got crabs in buckets, and the crabs that are trying to escape, the other crabs grab onto it and make sure it can't escape.
Yeah,
you're stuck here in the bucket with all the other crabs. Yeah, talking of crabs in buckets, here's like a studio seems to be full of some crabs in buckets. So this is GB News. Dan Wootton reporting on GB News how the planting fake booze again for Rupert in the GB News studio. So
literally living in a parallel universe where they just pretend that there is only the Tories and Reform UK, with no mention of Restore.
This guy's all right. Have you heard of him?
No, I don't think I've seen this guy. Is this Dan Wootton? Yeah, I've seen this guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. I think he got into some hot water though, didn't he? Was he up to some no good? Was he being a bit some kind of impropriety? Sexual impropriety?
He was something about intimate. Yeah, he was sending sort of intimate messages or something. I mean, God, it's like, who doesn't these days, eh? But tricked by a journalist to send intimate.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Right.
And an explicit video of himself. I wonder what that was like.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed, though. I mean, clearly that's to discredit him. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Right. Okay, so we'll just continue with this bit. So this is the GB News studio. That so-called pub of theirs. That's so boomer coded.
A weird clown, just a random clown picture above the. You see the random clown picture on the right? You just zoomed out on the top right there. Above
yeah.
That
says it all, doesn't it, mate? Yeah, you're right. Fucking flipping clowns. Yeah. Flipping fake clowns. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just play this so they, whether you think that they're plants, I think so, probably, but yeah.
Right of Britain. Is it the Tories or is it Reform UK? And before we go to some of these lovely people that we've got behind us there, Bev, I'll start with you. Is it the Tories or is it Reform?
It's totally Reform. I mean, I don't know who did this poll. Thank you, everybody. Because
they're trying to say Tories or Reform, but probably Restore have more support than the Tories right now.
Public are not stupid, and they can remember that so much of the problems that we face now, be it mass immigration,
at the mere mention of Restore Britain.
So they refer to Restore Britain, and then there are these boos in the room. So
plants, yeah.
However, my problem with Reform at the moment is they've got to do a deal with Restore Britain. We can't have the two right-wing parties falling out. They're going to divide the vote, and the worst thing we can have is the vote on the right being split, which means we get another 5 years of Labour, the worst of all.
But did you hear the crowd? Was that a boo, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, Jesus. They're all the same, aren't they?
Oh, it's horrible
These
to watch.
media harlots, it doesn't matter if they're left or right. They're just...
It's the same modus operandi. Yeah, this is why I find it hard to watch the stuff because it's just
I don't even. Well,
it's so contrived, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's awful. The boomers love this. They swear by GB News. I mean, my mum and dad are watching it. They've got it on all the time. They've got it on in the room and they've got it on the radio. So you're never like more than a few meters away from being exposed to GB News. My folks are, and I'm sure so many working class boomers are the same. They just lap it up.
I mean, GB. Just looking at this whilst that was playing, because I just wondered who owned GB.
Sorry,
GB. I was just going to say I'm not sure how much of a sort of impactful thing this is, but GB News is owned by Legatum Limited, who are a Dubai-based private investment firm. So I don't know. I was trying to just sort of backtrack and look at who actually runs the whole thing. But
apparently, it was set up by a sort of an evangelical Christian.
Christopher Chandler, I think, is the name of the guy.
There's nothing particularly I could find that links them to anything, as far as I know.
No, I couldn't either. It's a New Zealand businessman, Christopher Chandler. Yeah, and there doesn't really seem to be anything going on there, but particularly interesting, to be fair.
Oh, I just see what else is going on with this.
It's very divisive. Rupert Lowe in Restore is incredibly divisive. And Nigel has to somehow appeal to people in the middle who are centrist, who don't mind saying, I voted for Nigel Farage. And unfortunately...
She's such a bimbo, isn't she? She's awful. She wants to take it all to the centre. I mean, that's exactly what we don't want. We don't want it centralised. We don't want the same old crap we've had for the past 20 years, since 2000. It's got worse since then. Yeah, we don't want that. It's not even centrist. It's basically it's communism. It's Fabian communism. I mean, Common Purpose, the organisation that hijacked the Conservative Party. David Cameron was always seen doing meetings with Common Purpose graduates. That was Common Purpose. They say is associated. It's basically Common Purpose. It's like the Communist Party. That's why they chose the name Common Purpose. So it has that kind of, allusion to the Communist Party.
Because I've not been following GB News much, like over the years as such, but I was under the impression that they were more of a more right-leaning, more right-wing sympathetic. And also, by the way, good evening
pathetic, not even simper, just terribly pathetic. Yeah.
Good evening to Well Doll's Dance as well. He was fired from GB News, Wootton. Yeah, I think he was fired after the little scandal with the intimate videos and pictures. But good to see you, Well Doll's Dance. Hope you're all right.
Okay, yeah, we've gone for another 40-odd minutes. I've got gonna play another sandwich pan track. I'm gonna play Twos Up again because I always think that's a laugh. I don't think I'm overplaying it. I think that was only about 2 or 3 minutes long. So gonna take a little breather. Music breather, about 2 or 3 minutes there, Future Shock. Yeah.
Yep, no worries. See you in 3 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll mute you, yeah. Okay, let's mute.
Excuse me, mate, you ain't got any spare change on you, have you? Excuse me, mate, you ain't got a spare fag, have you? Twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you ain't got 40p, have you? Excuse me, twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you ain't got a spare fag, have you? Excuse me, mate, excuse me, mate, you ain't got any money, have you? Some spare change for the boss. Excuse me, mate, you could spare some money, could you? Because I'm really hungry. Excuse me, mate, you ain't got any fags, have you? Excuse me, mate, you ain't got a spare 20p, have you, for a cup of tea? Spare change, please. Excuse me, mate, you ain't got any cigarette papers, have you? Excuse me, mate, twos up on that. Got any spare change, mate? Excuse me, mate, can I borrow a quid? Excuse me, mate, you ain't got any exotic fruit on you, have you? Excuse me, mate, you got an holiday for 2? Excuse me, mate, you got 40p to go towards some candles. Excuse me, mate, you wouldn't happen to have any arms or legs on you, would you? Excuse me, mate, can I have your jumper? Twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you got 20p for a wheelbarrow. Excuse me, mate, you ain't got any cufflinks for the bus, have you? Twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you got any magic mushrooms? Twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you wouldn't happen to have a spare Spaniard, would you? Excuse me, mate, can I have your glasses? Excuse me, mate, you wouldn't happen to have £4 million, would you? Twos up on that. Excuse me, mate, you wouldn't happen to know if there's a suitcase going, would you? Excuse me, mate, you wouldn't happen to have any spare relatives, would you? Twos up on that. Yeah, can I have your dinner? Excuse me, you got the latest technology? Hello, mate, can I have your internal organs, please? Excuse me, mate, can I have that pavement you're standing on? Here, do you want to buy my eyebrows? No, mate, I don't want the time, I want your watch.
Excuse me, mate. You wouldn't happen to have one of them fire engines, would you? Here, mate, can I have the back of your head? Excuse me, mate. Do you want to swap coats? Two's up on that. Here, mate, I'll swap you what's in your wallet for what's up my nose. Excuse me, mate. If you give me 20 quid, I'll let you on me some theme tunes. Excuse me, mate. Do you want to buy Charlton Heston's motorhome? Excuse me, mate. You wouldn't happen to have a swimming pool full of daddy's sauce on you, would you? Excuse me, mate. Do you want to buy the North Face of the Eiger? Excuse me, mate. You wouldn't happen to have a top hat full of Toblerones on you, would you? Two's up on that. Excuse me, mate. Can I lick your hand?
That cracks me up. I really like that track. I like that track. Wow. How you doing? Did you enjoy that, Future Shock? Future Shock is muted himself for his own reasons. Best. Oh, he's back.
Whoa.
He's
whoa. That caught me by surprise. That did. Bloody hell. Okay.
I know it was a bit shorter than 3 minutes. It was 2 minutes and 27 seconds.
I was busy just looking at Arsenal had a friendly, so I was just busy looking at the football results, and it's the Super Cup as well between the Champions League winners PSG and the Europa League winners Aston Villa, and I was just having a look at how that was.
Oh, going. Okay.
So it's 2-1 to PSG with 5 minutes to go.
Where is it being held?
Sorry?
Where is it being held?
I have no idea. Hang on, where is it?
Is this going to give the Arabs an excuse to burn Paris one more time?
Probably. I don't know. It didn't even tell me where it is. Yeah, they don't need much of an excuse. I don't even know. It doesn't fucking tell me where it is. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where it is. It's in Solstad. It's in Solstad.
You know.
It's in Austria. So
is it right?
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Well, we're about finishing the show off, aren't we? 15 or 20 minutes left.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't know if you got something to say, but I was just going to do this bit about Fauci, one of my most hated individuals.
Oh yeah. Well, by all means, I was going to finish with something about one of my articles on my. I was just going to finish with going over my blog and looking at one of the articles in particular. About Illuminati High School, but by all means, go ahead with that if you want.
Let me do this Fauci one, and then we can finish with that. Yeah, I mean, this guy just honestly one of the biggest pricks in the universe, probably, I'd imagine. But basically, it turns out that Fauci is this. I think Nick Sauter is a journalist. I'm not sure exactly, but anyway, there's a lot of people reporting this, so this is definitely true. Fauci, and we can see there's a link there, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, Fauci was actually covering up data showing miscarriage rates of over 80% in pregnant women who received the mRNA COVID vaccines in their first trimester. It was effectively an abortion shot. The raw data. So basically, there was some documents that were released today by Rand Paul and Ron Johnson that revealed that it had an 82% miscarriage rate in women vaccinated during the first trimester. So killing babies left, right, and center, basically.
We don't call it killing, but we call it population control.
It's my bad.
Sure that's their motive. That's their reasoning behind it, anyway.
I misspoke. So please forgive me. This is consistent with the 81% miscarriage rate noted in the Pfizer post-market data. So there we go. Even Pfizer themselves are agreeing that this was the case. So a study released in April 2021, but even in December 21, Fauci was still telling pregnant women to get the vaccine, as is in this little clip here.
So he's got a child.
Look at this guy's. Look at this
guy's
removal.
He's a child remover.
Child remover. He's doing the bidding. I mean, like, look, is this not a demonically possessed?
That we as a nation are not doing optimally. It's the extraordinary situation where you have a highly effective vaccine that is very safe, and you have 50 million people in the country who refuse to get vaccinated, many of which are motivated purely by differences in political ideology, which is really unacceptable when you're in the middle of a deadly outbreak. If there ever was a time when you wanted the nation,
whatever. I can't.
Do you think JFK Jr. RFK Jr. will bring him to justice? Do you know
I hope so. I bloody hope so. Well, he pleaded the fifth, didn't he? And like what he's got, he was asked like 100 questions or something. He just refused to answer any of them. I can't honestly. This guy, I can't even stand the look of him. I need to get him off the screen. But imagine that. Imagine telling people to carry on getting this frigging thing when you knew there was an 80% miscarriage rate. It's just, oh mate, I don't know. I thought I'd throw that in there. I just learned this yesterday, and it just my ongoing hatred of Fauci just increased.
I mean, the thing is, it all come out in the wash, in this world or the next, and he'll get his comeuppance,
Does he not look like a demonically possessed individual? I don't know, just the eyes, the sort of slightly sunk. I don't know, man. I just get that vibe from him. Same vibe I get with Tony Blair. They're just like they're possessed by something, or like you said, maybe hypnotized of some kind. I don't know.
I don't know what his motivations are. Probably literally, I mean, I think it's it was C.S. Lewis who said the worst, most dangerous person is the person who does evil in full agreement with their conscience. So basically, someone who does evil but thinking they're doing good, or believing they're doing good, and having no crisis of conscience, and not realizing, just how evil they are. They're the most. It's one thing being outright evil, but it's much more effective if someone actually believes in what they're doing. They're much more dangerous.
Yeah, doesn't this remind you of? Oh, I'm sure this reminds me of like the Red Dwarf episode where they were being judged and they had to judge themselves, didn't they? Do you know the one I mean? Where Rimmer,
the Inquisitor.
Was it the Inquisitor one? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Where Rimmer he didn't think that he didn't feel guilt for what he had done, sort of thing, or didn't feel guilt for the way he reacts or the way he acts. Sorry, with people, so he was fine. Wasn't it? Do you remember? Do you remember?
He blamed his parents and his upbringing for making him a smegger, didn't he?
That's right.
So he kind of justified himself. The Inquisitor wanted Lister to justify himself why he was such a lazy bum, and Lister refused. She just said spin on it. But yeah, I mean, but ironically, Crichton and Lister are ostensibly were better people than Cat and Rimmer, but Cat and Rimmer. Anyway, listen, we're getting sidetracked into a show that probably our small audience. Yeah.
Also,
John Hughes, 8281. Do you know him?
Yeah, I was just going to say hi to John. Good to see you, man.
Hi, John. Yeah, brilliant. We got another comment. We got a comment from Where Dolls Dance. Yeah, he hasn't heard the phrase "two's up" since smoking in the bus on the 80s. Two's up on that.
Yeah, man.
And he's added
phrase.
Don't worry, with World Cup added time, we may have a chance still. That's a reference to. Is that a reference to Aston Villa? What's that reference to?
I'm not sure that was a reference to Where's Dolls. Sorry, I'm not sure on that one. We go off on tangents a lot here sometimes, and then we miss what people are referring to. But yeah,
John says hi, which is great. Great to hear from you, John. Fused, yeah. All right, we'll run up to the end of the show pretty much. So this is my blog, truthspoon.com. I've spent most of my, time researching and writing books and putting stuff here. So there's 3 books, PDFs you can download. You can also buy a copy. Suggest if you're interested. I think Where Dolls Dance Dollhouse already bought my books. God bless him. It's good. It's a good one. But I wanted to look at this article here, Illuminati High School. This is quite interesting. Hopefully everything else is relatively interesting. But I got in touch when I had that forum. I had a sort of a web forum. Were you on that Future Shock? Did you posted on my forum? Didn't you?
Yeah. The old 4D forum. Yeah. No, that was part. That was like a lot of my learning to do with, especially the sort of quantum physics type stuff. Was you having the patience to try and explain to me how 4 dimensions works? Because if you remember, I couldn't wrap this is obviously going back years, but I couldn't wrap my head around it because I was stuck in that idea of like thinking about it as being somewhere up in space or up in the universe, whereas actually it's the opposite, isn't it? It's like it's down into the atom. It's down.
It's inside. It's inside. I mean, whenever there's a question of dimensional progress, So if it's from 1 dimension to 2 dimensions, or 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, then so if you look at a 2-dimensional square, so the square is a 2-dimensional square is bounded by itself. It's in order to make the 2-dimensional square a 3-dimensional cube, you have to draw a line at right angles within the shape. In a sense, you're not going, you're not necessarily going outward. You're going within, inside the shape, and like expanding the space within. So
yeah, because otherwise it would
something outside. It's expanding space within. So as you say, the quantum realm is that's ultimately where the fourth dimension is, and it manifests through quantum phenomenon, photons and small molecules, and that there's more to it than that. But that's what science is saying is the limits of the ability of quantum phenomenon to manifest in reality is usually through electrons, photons, and small molecules. I mean, that doesn't sound very interesting if you put it like that, but if you realize that the whole universe and life and the world and everything is photons, then the quantum phenomenon is at the very core of reality itself. So
I mean, it's essentially to some degree pushing out reality. I mean, like you're saying with the square as well, it has to come from within, because otherwise, if you're going to draw lines out, you're just going to have a line with other lines just kind of sticking out, almost like a bow tie or something. It's
yeah, well, I mean, if you were to, if you're living in the square land and the surface of the square is your reality, even if it's out, like looking into the sky, you're looking out. You're not looking out. You're still looking at 3-dimensional reality. So, in order to figure out where the 4th-dimensional realm is, it's not anywhere where you can see. It's not anything you can look at in the 3-dimensional world. You're looking at more 3D phenomenon.
And it was interesting.
You can. It's the mind. We've got 2 eyes, which with one eye you can see in 2 dimensions. It's the fact that we've got 2 eyes allows us to see in 3 dimensions. But if we see with our 3rd eye, we see in 4 dimensions. So if we see with our mind's eye, that's the access to 4th dimension. So that means memories, that means visualizations, dreams.
Well, this is what I was
all unbounded, particularly dreams, which have no time reference, and things happen instantaneously, and there's lots of strange phenomenon in dreams which is not like normal reality. So in dreaming, you're in 4D, for instance.
Well, the example, what I was just about to say, and I'm glad you mentioned the dreams, is I was about to say that in one of the threads that we had on the forum, we were talking about how dreaming is a good example of how you can be in multiple dimensions at once. E.g., you're asleep, your body is asleep in bed in 3 dimensions, yet you are also experiencing a 4-dimensional reality. So at that time, whilst you're still living, obviously, you can experience both dimensions at once, just like a 3D cube is made of 2D squares, is made of 1D lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, have you seen that movie? Not Inception. Oh, what was the one? Matthew McConaughey, the Interstellar.
In Interstellar, yeah.
That's really good. Have you seen that?
I have. It was a few years ago now, so I'm a bit sketchy on it. But yeah, I definitely.
I like watching that because at the end, it's exactly what I've been writing and talking about. He goes into a hypercube at the end. It's a tesseract.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a really fantastic movie. Where a tesseract, a 4-dimensional hypercube, is a cube that has every side is a 3-dimensional shape. So as just like a standard 3D cube, every side is a flat square. Every side is a square of a cube. Of a hypercube, every side is a cube. So every side of a hypercube is another moment in time, which is how it's expressed in the movie Interstellar, isn't it? It's another place.
I mean, the movie,
you can travel between those places in time and space easily in 4 dimensions because there's no distance to travel through time or space because you're in 4D. You just walk across into the other time or other space in 3D.
I mean, the black hole, Gargantua, they named the black hole for it. I mean, I think it took them thousands of hours to render it, but basically it actually led to genuine scientific discoveries, scientific breakthroughs. There was papers done on it about the accretion disk. It showed the extreme gravitational light bending warps flat accretion disk into the vertical halo, and that was discovered through the depiction of Gargantua on Interstellar, and also the rapid spin, 99.8% the speed of light, dragging space-time like a whirlpool and flinging and multiplying light to project more than a dozen secondary images of background star fields. So yeah, that's a little bit sort of complicated sounding stuff, but basically there was two significant scientific breakthroughs that were based on the black hole in the movie and how the guys rendered the black hole, which took thousands of hours to do.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I quite like the time dilation story about
the fact that he doesn't age, sort of thing. Yeah,
landing on the planets that are closest to the black hole. So landing on those because of the way that space-time is kind of trapped by the black hole. Spending an hour on the surface is like spending 10 years or something. That's relativity. It's Einstein's sort of special theory of relativity, isn't it?
Yeah, no, the idea of
the time doesn't pass the same for everyone, and it can change depending on how fast you travel. Yeah.
No, it's one of the most fascinating things I find about the universe. I mean, there's lots of things, but if anyone asks me the question about, what's like one of the most fascinating thing, time dilation is always a thing that pops to mind. Like the idea that if you have the capability, theoretically, technically, you can do it. Like if you had the capability practically to jump on a ship that can travel at just under the speed of light for, say, 6 months away from Earth, turn it round, travel 6 months back, you'd only age about one biological year. The ship would age about 5,000 years, and you'd return to Earth in like the year, Wednesday, the 12th of August, 7026, with just a year-long journey and a years of biological aging for you. So it's always absolutely fascinating to me, like the possibilities that you could do with time dilation.
All right, so just to finish then with, I don't know if I've gone into this before. Did you ever know I got this report from someone studying in what he called an Illuminati high school?
I don't think you mentioned it, no.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So he was on my forum and he was studying at Laboratory High School, Illinois. And it actually looks a bit like, I used this image as the model for, obviously there wasn't a golden pyramid. There's a kind of stone facaded building there. And it's a really, really interesting account. I totally believe, actually. I totally believe him. Now, he's said he attended like a high school where there's kind of all sorts of it's really interesting, actually. There's like let me just go through some of this a little bit. So this guy believes that the Illuminati was started, well, this is what they're told, by someone called Pythagoras Lucifer, which is who we know as Pythagoras. Now, this is what they're told. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually true, because I always say you can't mind control someone with the truth. The things that from what he says that there's currently like a spiritual war between the Illuminati and the so-called what he calls theocrats, and he believes that there's this theocrats are those who sort of believe in God, and as we've sort of generally understood, the Illuminati, they don't want to be controlled by God. They have this sort of basically a sort of Luciferian sort of desire to not be held accountable. So he was told that Earth is in is the worst possible situation, and it's kind of like people are captured, human souls are captured in the afterlife and end up having extremely unpleasant circumstances, experiences like aka hell. The Illuminati view themselves as the good guys, the heroes. They're trying to save the world from an evil organization that does rule the world, called the Archons or the Overlords. The Archons are known by the number 333. The Illuminati are known by the number 666. So it's a funny. I mean, I believe him. I think what he's said, he has been told and he has heard as a member of this weird high school in Illinois. But obviously, whether it's true or not is a completely different thing. But it's interesting to hear what kind of stuff they're programmed with, what they're told about the Illuminati. They're told that they're good guys and they're fighting against this organization, the Archons or the Overlords. According to him, they have to work hand in hand with their so-called enemies. One of the secret Illuminati dogmas is that God is Satan and Satan is God. And that kind of sounds like that's Gnosticism. That's kind of classic Alexandrian Gnosticism. And good is evil and evil is good, which is literally what he was taught. And that's exactly what we hear. This is what the witches are taught. This is what in Macbeth, in Shakespeare's play Macbeth, this is what the witches chant. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Yeah. Evil and evil is good, yeah. So he claims that the world is ruled by the Illuminati Archons, where one side is directly evil and the other side pretends to be good. So it's the Illuminati either way. It seems to be Illuminati Archons or the Illuminati rebels. And we're trapped in this perpetual duality, the essence of Satanism, forever war, forever suffering. He says there are true angels who he'd call members of the Illuminati, false angels or false and lying souls. True angels working both to overthrow the Illuminati and the Archons. Yeah, I mean, I've only just glanced at the surface of this. It's an amazingly interesting and quite extensive piece of work that was sent to me over several messages. But I mean, I haven't heard from this guy for years. But yeah, he talks about how I allude to hypnotism. That wasn't just a fatuous comment that Keir Starmer was hypnotized. I literally think, I mean, I know these people are hypnotized. So they used to have sessions with programmers at this Illuminati high school, where the programmer would put you in a trance and make you frightened. She would read something like nonsense poems have a sort of psychological effect. So that you imagine a butterfly in the wind. Imagine how graceful the wind feels. Imagine a beautiful baby with a beautiful butterfly landing on its nose. Now imagine a tree being sawn with a sharp metal saw, and then now you can imagine the rest. It's so weird, sort of disturbing imagery like that, sort of to try and traumatize the brain. It's pretty good. So I mean, I haven't really got time to go over it all here fully, but if you're interested in this, then take a look at my blog, truthscreen.com.
Check it out, people. Do you know what? It sounds very similar to, and like, you know, RIP to this guy, John Physmatics, who really, to be honest with you, was one of the first guys who really got my music work and started signing my tunes regularly.
RIP? So he's passed on, yeah?
He's passed on, and he was a Freemason, and the sort of thing that you're talking about here, this guy mentioning, he used to mention a lot as well. And I think he was the one, because obviously they have levels, don't they? And I think he was one of the kind of lower level Masons. He wasn't, you know, fully aware of the whole shebang as such. He had not worked his way up. And yeah,
that's very interesting. How do you know he was I mean, I'm sure he was, but did he tell you he was a Freemason?
He told me. He openly told me.
Yeah.
Because he used to try to convince me that, like, oh, what? Because I would say to him, "Are you?" And like, I was first like getting in touch with him around the time that we were probably around the time we were posting regularly still on your message board. So not quite going back as far as the Ike message board, but when we were sort of moved on as such to the 4D forum, and that was about the time I started getting tunes signed with him. And so I would sort of relay stuff that we'd been talking about to him, and he'd be like, no, you see, it's not like that. It's a good organization, all this kind of stuff. So Yeah, he seemed to be kind of like, you know, looking at what you were saying and other people on the board were saying and the Ike Forum versus what he was saying. There's obviously a big contradiction, but I guess it's because, like you say, these people are sort of like, they're just not aware of everything that's going on, I suppose, until they get to those higher levels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't seem to be as deep into it as the chap you're talking about here. Don't get me wrong, but
that was just Freemasonry. I mean, this is what is claims to be the Illuminati. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, definitely. Yeah, go check that out. Check out Truth Spoon's blog over there.
Yeah, I'll just look at this bit. It's quite interesting. So he quit the Illuminati. Is that he remembered the mind control he was put under at age 13. So he's first some background on trance. This is where I think Keir Starmer and these people, they're in mild trances, and at these trances, this kind of thing could be done to them, you know, with a skilled hypnotist, or in some kind of training organization. So this guy, before I can explain mind control, I should mention the existence of psychological trance. It's possible to put a person in a state of psychological trance in which the person seems sort of zombified or sleeping while awake, passive, under the control of an outside voice. I suspect psychological trance is actually used by the US government broadly on American middle school children. This happened to me. There are audios that if you put headphones on a person and make them listen to a 2-minute roughly trance-coded audio, then that person will go into a trance state and will become open to being controlled by another person. So I attended an Illuminati training in France, an 8-day training course, and during that course, this was 26 years ago. It was quite a while ago, and I had a Sony Walkman, the tape Walkman with radio. During the course in the dorm, because we stayed, it was like residential. There was a trance audio on my Walkman throughout all of the whole band, and it was a kind of like a rave techno track, and repeated words were "Open the files on the FBI, keep it a secret, and all sorts of allusions to American policy. And always this refrain, keep it a secret. And this is really far out. I know it is. But so I can corroborate that they use a variety of techniques to try and hypnotize people. Yeah, when I heard this on the radio Walkman back then, and I cycled through all the stations, and it was the same signal everywhere. It was obviously just being beamed by a local transmitter for the purpose, but it was terrifying. I wondered what the hell was going on. I was freaked out big time. But yeah, so we'll sort of wrap it up there then, shall we? Because I've got to get on and get about my evening business.
Yeah, same here, man. But yeah, it's been a good one. I enjoyed it tonight. Hope people listening have been enjoying it. Yeah. Obviously, we'll be back same time next week with more of this lovely stuff. So yeah, cheers to Where Dolls Dance and John, who was here as well.
Yeah, nice to see a new name there, John. Fantastic, mate. Yeah.
John. But yes, I'm sure the thing with doing a weekly show, what it hammers home to me is like every time we come back on a Wednesday, we've always got loads of new stuff to talk about, because just every single week, every single news cycle of a week or so these days is just full of so much craziness. I mean, it's an interesting timeline to be living in, put it that way.
It sure is, bro. It sure is. So
yeah,
I'll tell you what, though, I need some rain. I mean, if hopefully by this time next week it'll rain.
Oh, it's literally coming, isn't it? It's coming on.
Is it coming? Oh, that's good news, mate.
Sunday. No, not Sunday. Sorry, next week it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Rain apparently. So all these people will be moaning about rain. You're going to get a load of rain next week. So
I'm going to be rain bathing, bro. I tell you.
Chin up. You're going to be bathing, but like bathing as in like a bath. Bath. Yeah. All right then.
Nice one, mate. All right, have a good one. See you this time next week, guys. And the
good night, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone. Keep tumbling.
Tumbling.
All right, right, here we go. All right, play you out with the outro, and yeah. Try and stay happy, everyone, despite the nonsense out there. Yeah.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Cheers,